The morning sun cast long shadows across the Afghan mountainside as Sarah Martinez adjusted her rifle scope for the third time. At 19, she possessed an unusual combination of youthful features and deadly precision that had earned her a place among the most elite military units in the world. Her small frame and baby-faced appearance often drew skeptical glances from seasoned soldiers, but those who had witnessed her work knew better than to judge by appearances. Sarah had grown up in rural Montana, where her father taught her to shoot before she could properly ride a bicycle. The Martinez family ranch sat on 3,000 acres of rolling hills and dense forest, providing the perfect training ground for a future marksman. Every morning before school, Sarah would practice with her father's hunting rifles, learning to account for wind speed, distance, and the subtle art of breath control that separated good shooters from extraordinary ones. Her childhood was marked by an unusual dedication to precision. While other children played video games or watched television, Sarah spent hours studying ballistics charts and weather patterns. She read military manuals with the same enthusiasm that her peers reserved for comic books. Her bedroom walls were covered not with posters of pop stars, but with topographical maps and charts showing bullet trajectories at various distances. The decision to join the military came naturally to Sarah. Her high school guidance counselor had suggested college, pointing to her exceptional grades in mathematics and physics. But Sarah knew her destiny lay elsewhere. The day after her 18th birthday, she walked into the local Army recruitment office with a determination that surprised even the experienced sergeants who worked there. Basic training proved to be less challenging than Sarah had anticipated. Her years of physical conditioning on the ranch had prepared her body for the rigors of military life, while her mental discipline allowed her to excel in both academic and practical exercises. It was during advanced marksmanship training that Sarah truly began to stand out from her peers. Her instructor, Sergeant Major Williams, had been teaching military snipers for over 15 years. He had trained hundreds of soldiers, many of whom went on to serve with distinction in various conflicts around the world. But Sarah was different. Her natural ability, combined with an almost supernatural focus, made her shots consistently perfect under any conditions. Whether shooting in bright sunlight, complete darkness, or during simulated combat stress, Sarah never missed her intended target. The path to becoming a military sniper is long and demanding. Most candidates are eliminated during the psychological evaluation phase, as the mental requirements for long-range precision shooting often prove more challenging than the physical demands. Sarah passed every test with scores that impressed even the most skeptical evaluators. Her psychological profile showed an unusual combination of empathy and emotional control that made her ideal for the complex moral landscape that snipers must navigate. After completing sniper school with the highest scores in her class, Sarah was assigned to a conventional infantry unit for her first deployment. The mountains of Afghanistan provided a harsh introduction to combat for the young soldier. The terrain was unforgiving, the weather unpredictable, and the enemy cunning and well-adapted to the local conditions. Sarah quickly learned that the textbook scenarios of sniper school bore little resemblance to the reality of combat operations. Her first confirmed kill came during a Taliban ambush on her unit's convoy. Hidden insurgents had positioned themselves in a village overlooking the main supply route, using the local population as human shields while they fired on American vehicles. Sarah's commanding officer had called for air support, but the proximity of civilians made aerial bombardment impossible. It was then that Sarah requested permission to engage the enemy snipers who were pinning down her unit. Using her Barrett M82 rifle, Sarah identified 3 enemy positions from a distance of over 800 meters. The shots had to be perfect. Any miss could result in civilian casualties or reveal her position to other enemy fighters. With her spotter providing range and wind calculations, Sarah eliminated all 3 targets in less than 30 seconds. The precision of her shooting and the speed of her target acquisition drew immediate attention from higher command levels. Word of Sarah's exceptional abilities traveled quickly through military channels. Within weeks of her first combat engagement, she received orders to report for evaluation by a joint special operations task force. The meeting took place at a forward operating base near Kandahar, where Sarah found herself face-to-face with some of the most elite soldiers in the American military. The evaluation process was unlike anything Sarah had experienced during her regular military training. She was tested not only on her shooting ability, but on her capacity to work independently behind enemy lines, her ability to gather intelligence, and her mental resilience under extreme stress. The psychological pressure was intense as evaluators attempted to simulate the isolation and responsibility that comes with special operations missions. During one particularly challenging exercise, Sarah was required to maintain overwatch on a simulated village for 72 hours while enemy role players attempted to locate and eliminate her position. She had to remain hidden while providing intelligence reports and, when necessary, engaging targets that threatened friendly forces operating in the area below. The exercise tested every aspect of her training, from camouflage and concealment to long-range marksmanship under varying weather conditions. Sarah's performance during the evaluation period was flawless. She demonstrated not only exceptional shooting skills, but also the kind of tactical intelligence and emotional stability that special operations units required. Her ability to remain calm under pressure and make split-second decisions while considering complex rules of engagement impressed even the most experienced operators who observed her work. The recommendation for Sarah's transfer to special operations came with unusual speed. Typically, such assignments required years of conventional military service and multiple deployments. But Sarah's unique combination of skills and the urgent need for qualified snipers and special operations units accelerated the normal timeline. Within 6 months of her first deployment, she found herself preparing for integration into one of the military's most secretive and demanding organizations. The training pipeline for special operations differed significantly from conventional military instruction. Sarah found herself working alongside seasoned veterans who had conducted missions in dozens of countries under conditions of absolute secrecy. The learning curve was steep, as she had to master not only advanced combat techniques, but also the complex intelligence gathering and analysis skills that special operations missions required. Her new training focused heavily on urban warfare scenarios, as most special operations missions took place in populated areas where the distinction between combatants and civilians was often unclear. Sarah learned to operate in environments where a single mistake could have international political consequences. The weight of this responsibility was something that no amount of conventional military training could have prepared her for. Languages became an important part of Sarah's education. She demonstrated a natural aptitude for Arabic and Pashto, the primary languages spoken in the regions where she would likely operate. Her linguistic abilities, combined with her exceptional marksmanship skills, made her an invaluable asset for missions requiring both precision engagement and intelligence gathering. The physical demands of special operations training pushed Sarah to new limits. She had always been in excellent condition, but the endurance requirements for multi-day missions behind enemy lines required a level of fitness that few soldiers ever achieved. Night operations, mountain warfare, and desert survival became routine parts of her training regimen. Mental preparation proved equally important. Sarah learned meditation techniques designed to maintain focus during extended periods of stress and isolation. She studied the psychological profiles of various terrorist and insurgent leaders, learning to predict behavior patterns that could affect mission planning and execution. The intellectual demands of special operations work surprised many new recruits, but Sarah thrived in the analytical environment. Her final qualification exercise took place in a remote mountain range that simulated the terrain and conditions she would face in actual operations. Working with a small team of experienced operators, Sarah was required to infiltrate a heavily defended compound, gather intelligence on enemy activities, and eliminate specific high-value targets without alerting the broader enemy force to their presence. The mission lasted 5 days and required Sarah to demonstrate every skill she had acquired during her intensive training period. She had to navigate treacherous terrain at night, establish concealed observation positions, and coordinate with other team members using only hand signals and encrypted radio communications. The final engagement required her to eliminate 2 enemy sentries simultaneously from a distance of over 1,000 meters, clearing the way for her team to complete their intelligence-gathering mission. Sarah's performance during the qualification exercise exceeded the expectations of her instructors and earned her immediate assignment to an active special operations team. The transition from trainee to operational team member marked a significant milestone in her military career, but it also brought new challenges and responsibilities that would test everything she had learned. The helicopter touched down on the Rocky Plateau at exactly 0300 hours, its rotor wash creating a small dust storm that obscured the insertion point. Sarah jumped from the aircraft alongside 5 Navy SEALs, each carrying specialized equipment for what promised to be one of the most challenging missions of the deployment. The target was a compound nestled in a valley below, where intelligence suggested a high-value terrorist leader was meeting with regional commanders to plan coordinated attacks on coalition forces. Team leader Commander James Mitchell had been conducting special operations for over 12 years. His weathered face and careful movement spoke to countless missions in hostile territory, and his reputation among special operations units was legendary. When Sarah was assigned to his team, Mitchell had expressed private concerns about integrating such a young soldier into his experienced unit. At 42, he had children older than Sarah, and the responsibility of keeping her alive while accomplishing the mission weighed heavily on his mind. The other team members shared Mitchell's reservations, though they were careful not to voice them directly. Senior Chief Petty Officer Rodriguez had served 3 tours in Iraq and 2 in Afghanistan. His expertise in close-quarters combat and explosive ordnance disposal made him invaluable for missions requiring precision and stealth. He watched Sarah during the initial mission briefing, noting her calm demeanor, but wondering if her composure would hold under actual combat conditions. Petty Officer First Class Thompson specialized in communications and electronic warfare. His ability to intercept and decode enemy communications had saved countless American lives during his 8-year career in special operations. Thompson's concern about Sarah centered on her lack of experience working with established team dynamics. Special operations units functioned like organisms, with each member anticipating the actions and needs of their teammates through years of shared experience. The newest member besides Sarah was Petty Officer Second Class Davis, a demolitions expert who had joined the team 6 months earlier. Despite his relative newness to the unit, Davis had already proven himself during several successful missions. His initial assessment of Sarah was cautiously optimistic. Her technical knowledge was impressive, but he wondered if she possessed the adaptability that special operations required when plans inevitably changed during execution. Petty Officer Jackson rounded out the team as the primary communications specialist and medic. His responsibility for team members' health and safety gave him a unique perspective on unit cohesion and individual capabilities. Jackson had seen promising soldiers crack under pressure, and he worried that Sarah's youth and inexperience might create vulnerabilities that could compromise the entire mission. The mission briefing had revealed a complex tactical situation. The target compound was located in a valley, surrounded by steep mountain slopes that provided excellent fields of fire for defending forces. Intelligence indicated that the compound housed not only the primary target, but also a substantial security detail armed with heavy weapons and surface-to-air missiles. The team would need to approach undetected, gather intelligence on the exact location of the target, and either capture or eliminate him without alerting the broader enemy network. Sarah's role in the mission was specifically defined, but critically important. She would establish an overwatch position on a ridge approximately 800 meters from the compound, providing both reconnaissance and precision fire support for the assault team. Her position would allow her to observe the entire target area and engage any threats that emerged during the operation. The success or failure of the mission could depend entirely on her ability to provide accurate intelligence and eliminate specific targets at long range. The approach to the target area required 6 hours of movement through treacherous mountain terrain. The team moved in single file, with each member carrying over 60 pounds of specialized equipment, including ammunition, communications gear, and medical supplies. Sarah's load included her primary sniper rifle, a backup weapon, over 200 rounds of precision ammunition, and advanced optical equipment for target identification and range finding. During the movement, Sarah noticed the subtle tests that her teammates subjected her to. Rodriguez would occasionally signal for her to take point, observing how she navigated difficult terrain and made tactical decisions about route selection. Thompson monitored her radio discipline, ensuring that her communications were both clear and secure. Davis watched her equipment management, noting how she maintained her weapons and gear during rest stops. The most significant test came when the team encountered an unexpected obstacle, a Taliban patrol moving along their planned route of approach. Mitchell signaled for the team to take cover while they assessed the threat and determined the best course of action. The enemy patrol consisted of 6 fighters armed with assault rifles and rocket-propelled grenades, moving in a loose formation that suggested they were conducting a routine security sweep rather than responding to intelligence about American forces in the area. Sarah found herself in a position where she could observe the entire enemy patrol through her rifle scope. The range was approximately 400 meters, well within her effective engagement distance, but Mitchell had not yet given permission to engage. The team waited in silence as the enemy patrol moved closer to their concealed position. If discovered, the SEALs would be forced to abandon their primary mission to fight their way out of an increasingly dangerous tactical situation. The decision point came when one of the enemy fighters broke away from the main patrol and began moving directly toward the team's hiding place. Sarah's scope tracked the fighter's movement as he approached a position from which he would inevitably discover the concealed Americans. Mitchell faced an impossible choice: authorize Sarah to engage and risk revealing their presence to the remaining enemy fighters, or allow the team to be discovered and face a firefight that would compromise their primary mission. Sarah's voice came through the radio with calm professionalism that surprised her teammates. She reported the approaching threat and requested permission to engage, providing precise range and wind calculations that demonstrated her readiness to make an accurate shot. Her calm demeanor under pressure impressed even the skeptical Rodriguez, who had expected signs of nervousness or hesitation from the young sniper. Mitchell's decision to authorize the engagement marked a turning point in the team's acceptance of Sarah as a full member. Her shot was perfect, a single round that eliminated the threat without creating noise that would alert the remaining patrol members. The enemy fighter simply collapsed, and his absence was not noticed by his companions until they had moved well beyond the team's position. The successful engagement demonstrated not only Sarah's shooting ability, but also her understanding of the tactical situation and her ability to communicate effectively under pressure. The other team members began to view her differently, recognizing that her youth did not necessarily translate to inexperience or unreliability. Mitchell's confidence in her abilities grew substantially, and he began to consider how her unique skills might be employed during the assault phase of the mission. The team reached their final approach position as dawn broke over the mountain peaks. The target compound lay spread out in the valley below, a collection of mud brick buildings surrounded by defensive walls and guard towers. Sarah's scope revealed details that satellite imagery had missed: additional defensive positions, vehicle placements, and patterns of sentry movement that would be crucial for planning the assault. Establishing her overwatch position required careful selection of terrain that provided both concealment and clear fields of fire. Sarah chose a location among large boulders that offered protection from return fire while allowing her to observe the entire compound. Her camouflage and concealment techniques were flawless, creating a position that would be virtually impossible to detect from the valley below. The intelligence gathering phase lasted 4 hours, during which Sarah provided detailed reports on enemy activities within the compound. Her observations revealed that the primary target was indeed present, along with several other high-value individuals who had not been identified in the original intelligence briefing. The presence of additional targets complicated the mission, but also provided an opportunity to strike a significant blow against the terrorist network. Sarah's reports also identified several tactical challenges that the assault team would face. The compound's defenses were more extensive than originally believed, with interlocking fields of fire from multiple guard positions and heavy weapons placed in locations that could devastate an approaching assault force. Her precise target location reports allowed Mitchell to modify the assault plan to account for these newly discovered threats. The assault began at nightfall, with Sarah providing overwatch as the SEAL team moved into position around the compound perimeter. Her first engagement came when a roving sentry discovered signs of the team's approach and moved to alert the defenders. Sarah's shot eliminated the threat before he could raise an alarm, allowing the assault to proceed according to plan. As the assault unfolded, Sarah found herself engaging multiple targets in rapid succession. Her position allowed her to see threats that the assault team could not identify, and her precise fire eliminated enemy fighters who were attempting to flank or ambush the SEALs. The combination of her overwatch position and the assault team's aggressive movement through the compound created a tactical advantage that quickly overwhelmed the defenders. The primary target was located in a fortified room within the main building, surrounded by bodyguards who fought desperately to protect their leader. Sarah's ability to engage threats through windows and doorways from her distant position proved crucial in allowing the assault team to reach their objective. Her shots were so precise that she could eliminate targets who were immediately adjacent to friendly forces without risk of collateral damage. The successful completion of the mission marked a significant moment in Sarah's career and in her relationship with her teammates. The SEAL team had achieved all of their objectives while suffering no casualties, a result that was due in large part to Sarah's exceptional performance in her Overwatch role. The respect and acceptance she earned during this mission would prove invaluable as she continued to serve with special operations units. The debriefing session took place in a secure conference room at the Forward Operating Base 3 days after the successful mission. Sarah sat at a metal table across from a panel of senior officers, including her immediate commander and representatives from various intelligence agencies. The atmosphere was formal but respectful, a marked contrast to the skeptical reception she had received when first assigned to special operations. Colonel Williams, the overall mission commander, began the session by reviewing the operational objectives and outcomes. The elimination of the terrorist leader and capture of intelligence materials had exceeded original mission parameters. More importantly, the flawless execution of the operation had demonstrated the effectiveness of integrating specialized personnel into established special operations teams when their skills complemented existing capabilities. Sarah's performance during the mission had generated considerable interest among military leadership. Her ability to provide real-time intelligence while simultaneously delivering precision fire support represented a tactical innovation that could be applied to future operations. The combination of advanced optics technology and exceptional marksmanship skills allowed for levels of battlefield awareness and control that had previously required multiple specialized personnel. Commander Mitchell provided detailed testimony about Sarah's contributions to mission success. His initial skepticism had transformed into genuine admiration for her professionalism and tactical acumen. Mitchell emphasized that Sarah's age had proven to be irrelevant to her effectiveness, and that her technical skills were superior to those of snipers with significantly more experience. His recommendation for her continued assignment to special operations carried substantial weight given his reputation and experience. The intelligence officers were particularly interested in Sarah's observational reports from the Overwatch position. Her detailed descriptions of enemy defensive positions, personnel movements, and equipment had provided insights that satellite imagery and electronic surveillance had missed. The human intelligence she gathered during the reconnaissance phase proved as valuable as her direct combat contributions during the assault. Senior Chief Rodriguez offered his own assessment of Sarah's integration into the team dynamic. His initial concerns about her youth and inexperience had been replaced by confidence in her abilities and judgment. Rodriguez noted that Sarah had demonstrated the kind of adaptability and decision-making capability that typically required years of operational experience to develop. Her natural tactical instincts seemed to compensate for her limited time in special operations. The psychological evaluation component of the debriefing focused on Sarah's mental resilience and emotional processing of combat experiences. Dr. Helen Morrison, the unit psychologist, had conducted extensive interviews with Sarah both before and after the mission. Her assessment indicated that Sarah possessed unusual emotional stability and a healthy understanding of the moral complexities involved in her role as a sniper. Dr. Morrison's report highlighted Sarah's ability to compartmentalize the emotional impact of lethal force while maintaining empathy and moral awareness. This psychological profile was considered ideal for special operations personnel who often face situations requiring split-second decisions with life and death consequences. Sarah's youth seemed to provide advantages in adapting to these psychological demands rather than creating vulnerabilities. The discussion turned to future operational assignments and Sarah's continued development within Special Operations Forces. Several mission commanders had specifically requested her assignment to their teams based on reports of her exceptional performance. The demand for her services reflected both her technical capabilities and the growing recognition that her unique skill set could provide tactical advantages in a variety of operational scenarios. Sarah was offered several options for her next assignment. One possibility involved transfer to a hostage rescue team that operated primarily in urban environments. Her precision shooting skills would be valuable for operations requiring the elimination of threats in close proximity to hostages or innocent civilians. The psychological demands of such missions were intense, as mistakes could result in civilian casualties that would have international political consequences. Another option focused on deep reconnaissance missions behind enemy lines. These assignments would require Sarah to operate independently or with minimal support for extended periods while gathering intelligence on enemy activities. Her ability to remain concealed while providing accurate observational reports made her ideal for this type of mission, though the isolation and stress could be psychologically challenging. The third possibility involved assignment to a counterterrorism task force that operated across multiple countries and theaters of operation. This role would provide diverse experiences and opportunities for professional development, but would also require frequent deployments and separation from stable support systems. The international nature of the missions would expose Sarah to different cultures, languages, and tactical environments. Sarah's response to these opportunities reflected the maturity and thoughtfulness that had impressed her commanders throughout her brief but exceptional military career. Rather than immediately accepting the most prestigious or exciting assignment, she asked detailed questions about the specific requirements, challenges, and learning opportunities associated with each option. Her methodical approach to career planning demonstrated the same analytical thinking that made her such an effective sniper. The conversation revealed Sarah's long-term vision for her military service. She expressed interest in eventually moving into training and development roles, where she could share her knowledge and experience with future generations of special operations personnel. Her unique perspective as someone who had succeeded despite initial skepticism about her age and appearance could provide valuable insights for other non-traditional candidates. The meeting concluded with formal recognition of Sarah's contributions and a promotion that reflected her exceptional performance. The advancement was unusual given her limited time in service, but was justified by her demonstrated capabilities and the unanimous support of her chain of command. The promotion also came with additional responsibilities and expectations that would challenge her to continue developing her leadership and technical skills. Following the debriefing, Sarah met privately with Commander Mitchell to discuss her future within his team. Mitchell had developed genuine respect for Sarah's abilities and wanted to ensure that her continued development aligned with both her personal goals and the team's operational needs. Their conversation covered not only immediate tactical considerations, but also longer-term career planning and professional development opportunities. Mitchell shared his own experiences as a young special operations member, including the challenges he had faced in proving himself to skeptical teammates and commanders. He emphasized that Sarah's rapid acceptance by the team was a testament to her exceptional abilities rather than any lowering of standards. The military's special operations community was ruthlessly meritocratic, and success was measured solely by performance and results. The discussion touched on the unique pressures that Sarah faced as one of the few women in special operations roles. Mitchell acknowledged that she would continue to encounter skepticism and scrutiny that male counterparts might not face. However, he emphasized that her proven track record of success provided a foundation of credibility that would make future assignments easier to obtain and execute successfully. Sarah's response to these challenges reflected the mental toughness that had characterized her performance throughout her military career. She expressed determination to continue proving herself through consistent excellence rather than allowing external perceptions to limit her opportunities or affect her confidence. Her focus remained on continuous improvement and contributing to mission success regardless of the obstacles she might encounter. The conversation also addressed the technical aspects of Sarah's continued development as a sniper and special operations team member. Mitchell recommended additional training in areas that would expand her versatility, including urban warfare techniques, explosive ordnance disposal, and advanced communication systems. The goal was to make her not just an exceptional sniper, but a truly multifaceted special operations professional. Training opportunities were discussed that would allow Sarah to work with special operations units from allied nations. These exchanges would expose her to different tactical approaches and equipment while building international relationships that could prove valuable in future joint operations. The learning opportunities were considered essential for her continued professional development. As their meeting concluded, Mitchell offered Sarah a permanent position on his team with the understanding that she would serve as both a primary sniper and a mentor for new team members. This dual role would allow her to continue developing her own skills while contributing to the overall capabilities of the unit. The mentorship responsibilities would also prepare her for future leadership positions within special operations forces. Sarah accepted the offer with gratitude and determination. She understood that her success had opened doors not only for herself, but potentially for other non-traditional candidates who might follow in her footsteps. The responsibility of serving as a positive example motivated her to maintain the highest standards of performance and professionalism. Looking toward the future, Sarah knew that her journey in special operations was just beginning. The challenges ahead would test not only her technical skills, but also her leadership abilities and her capacity to adapt to an evolving operational environment. However, her foundation of success and the respect she had earned from her teammates provided confidence that she could meet whatever challenges lay ahead. The transformation from a young woman whose age was questioned to a respected special operations professional had been remarkable, but not surprising to those who understood her character and capabilities. Sarah's story would become an inspiration to future generations of military personnel who faced similar skepticism and doubt. Her success demonstrated that determination, skill, and professionalism could overcome any initial prejudices or preconceptions. Her legacy would extend beyond her individual achievements to influence military culture and attitudes toward diverse personnel in special operations roles. The barriers she had broken would make the path easier for others who possess the necessary skills, but might not fit traditional expectations about special operations personnel. This broader impact gave additional meaning and purpose to her continued service and professional development.